Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and as you can see, today I have a special guest.
What's going on? How you guys doing today? Clap it up for Princess. Let's make you up.
So today's gonna be a story time video, and he's here because he's gonna help me tell the story because he was a big part of the story.
I am the narrator. That's who I am. All right.
Okay, so if you've watched my previous video, Where Have I Been? You'll hear me say in the video, I almost died. So this is going to be the story of how I almost died. So back on February, it was February 25th to be exact. It was a Monday, I believe. It was a typical Monday. I went to work. You know, I picked Chloe up from school. Keyshawn comes home between 8 and 8:30 sometimes. So that night, well, first of all, let me start over. From the beginning of the day, I wasn't feeling too well because my allergies and my sinuses was like on 1,000 from the time I walked into the building. I'm not sure if it was because of where I worked or maybe that day the pollen count was high, but I already had problems breathing through my nose and I was breathing through my mouth. So if you guys don't know, I have major allergies to everything, and I also have asthma. I just need to put that in there so the story makes more sense to you. Anyway, so let's fast forward again. So about 8 o'clock at night, Keyshawn came home, and he came home with shrimp. Now, I've always been allergic to shellfish, but I've only had a reaction if I've actually eat shellfish. Not if I smell it, not if somebody touches me, none of the above. Anyway, so it was about 8 o'clock at night. That's around the time that I take Chloe to bed or get her ready for bed. Keyshawn came home. Chloe and I were already in the bed, and he gave us both a kiss and a hug, and he greeted us. That was around like 8:15, right?
Yeah.
It was around 8:15. Within 10 minutes, I would say, my airways started closing up. But I didn't know that's what was happening because this is the first time I've ever had such a dramatic response. I thought I was having a major asthma attack. So the first thing I did was run to the kitchen because that's where I have my bag to get my asthma pump. And then, you can tell this part.
And then I told you to go wash your face or wash your mouth out. You went to the bathroom and washed your face.
But I wasn't sure what was happening yet. I took my pump and I was
You took your pump and it wasn't working.
And it wasn't working.
And then you were crying hysterically and saying, I can't breathe.
I think I was barely speaking.
And all I heard was, I can't breathe. And, you know, your airway was closing up. You was crying, you know, you were choking, everything. You know, it was really, really bad. You know, thank God your mother was here as well. Yeah. And your mother was like, call 911. I jumped on the phone. I already had 911 on speed dial. I called 911 while you were just laying down, and a whole bunch of stuff is going through our heads. Chloe is up. Chloe's in the living room now, and she's like, Mom, what's going on? Is you okay? You okay? You can't speak to her. Tears is coming out your eyes.
At one point in time, I was like losing it. I was like literally running around the house because all I wanted to do was breathe. And at this point in time, I guess because I have asthma as well, it made it worse. I started wheezing. Like my throat, it basically felt like the walls of my throat. This is the walls, and they were like this. Like it felt like it was a little bit of room at the time, but it was just like as going by, it just got closer. And remember, I already couldn't breathe through my nose from the beginning of the day, so that made it worse. And it got to the point where I was like, that's exactly what I sound like. And
we were trying to get her water, but they said no because you can't even drink the water.
I couldn't even speak. I couldn't swallow anything. That's why so much spit was coming out of my mouth. I couldn't even swallow my spit.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, you was turning red and you was sweating.
My face, everything started swelling up. We
were saying take off your clothes because it was hot. So it was a lot going on at one time. My face got
swollen. Everything was swelling up. And then I had like red marks. Like I started like at the reaction. I don't know if it was from the straining from breathing or just like, basically I broke out like hives. Like all over my face, on my neck. It was just.
It was scary.
Everywhere.
And Chloe was coming out and Chloe's like, what's going on? And it's for her to see. And she's 2. So for her to see that going on, it's like, you know, life changing. It could be, you know, to somebody that young, you know. And then paramedics came. Yeah,
in, you know, they already knew what was going on with me. So the
EMT.
The EMT, he came through the door with the EpiPen in his hand.
Yeah.
That's like the first thing he did. He stabbed me because that's how you administer EpiPen. You have to stab the person in their thigh.
Yeah, yeah.
And
then they gave you something else too that made you feel cold and warm. I forgot what it was.
The EpiPen was doing that. So because this is the first time experience all around for me, when he came, he gave me the EpiPen. I felt my throat. Well, not just my throat. It felt like I started to get a little bit of air at one point in time. But I was still wheezing. But it was like I felt my body opening up a little bit. So I guess the way... so an EpiPen is basically epinephrine. It's like adrenaline going through your body. So it sounded like this tingling sensation where it was like burning. And then I started shaking like... like a York peppermint patty. I was like, and then he was like, it's normal. And I think the next thing he gave me was the steroid.
Yeah.
I think he gave me the steroid, and
that's when you just like
I couldn't breathe. Yeah.
No, did you get up?
No, I did, but he said as he was giving it. So they gave me an IV. I forgot that part. So after they gave me the EpiPen, they put
the IVs what made your body temperature change.
Yeah. Yeah. So they put the IV in my right arm, and then they had did something to my... It's so much stuff was going on at the same time, but I know when he was giving me the steroid, as he was putting it into the IV, he was just like, this is going to stop you from breathing for like 3 to 5 seconds. And as soon as he said that, I grabbed and I was like...
And at that time, I had Chloe in the bedroom,
and
so she couldn't see what was going on. So she wouldn't be like, traumatized or something.
Yeah.
Because she's very, very... inquisitive, so she's like,
and
what's
she's
going
very
on?
smart for her age.
Yeah,
she has a lot of
and she
sense.
wanted to know what was going on because she kept on trying to get out the room to see what's going on in the living room.
Of course, because I'm her mommy.
And she's like, what's happening, mommy? She didn't say it like that because she can't speak proper English like that.
But she was panicking.
It was more like,
too.
she was panicking. She was like, like babies, whatever they say. I don't know.
Chloe could speak.
She could speak, but not like.
She just kept saying, "Mommy, you okay? Mommy, you okay?
What's wrong?"
And when I was running through the house before the ambulance came, she was like trying to hush me. She was rubbing me. She was like, "Mommy, it's okay." And like, I'm going through my own thing, but the whole time I'm thinking about Chloe. Like, oh my God, I don't want her to be seeing this. I don't want her to see me like this because Chloe gets traumatized really quickly.
And she start doing the things that happens.
Yeah, we're gonna speak about that.
She start coughing too. If you say I'm not feeling good, I got a headache, the whole
she
day.
Was like, oh my
head hurt. So she's very, very dramatic.
So wait, let me finish this. So then they also hooked me up to the EKG machine because apparently I was also going to go into cardiac arrest, which is very scary because I remember them kept saying we have to stabilize her heart. And like a lot of things was a blur. So after he gave me the steroid really opened up my lungs. That's when I took the first full breath because at that time they also had oxygen on me. Man, EMT, if you're an EMT or paramedic and you're watching this, you're awesome.
If you do your work. And you're not lazy. You are amazing.
Well, the one that I had...
He was good.
He was great.
What was his name?
I don't even remember. I'm bad with names.
Jonathan, David, Ezekiel.
I don't remember. I'm bad with names, but he was moving so quickly, and of course his partner was assisting him. That's how they did so many things at the same time to make sure that I was okay. And I was like thanking God for that and for them, you know, that because any EMT could have came, but I felt like it had to be God that sent him.
He was working. He was putting in work.
Yeah, you could tell he was very skilled and he was doing this for a while.
He was dedicated and he was serious. He knew exactly what to do, how to do it. He wasn't panicking. He was straightforward. He was actually calm.
Yes, he was.
And, you have to be calm when you're doing that because if you're not calm, you're going to make the other person feel uncomfortable.
Even remember when he gave me the steroid, he was like, it's going to stop you from breathing. It got to the point where I grabbed him like this, and I couldn't let him go. But he was still moving, like his hand was like... Yep. But I couldn't let him go. I don't understand why I couldn't. But so after that, they gave me a high dosage of Benadryl. When that Benadryl kicked in, I was so high. I was like... Yep. It was just like, I felt so much better, but they kept me hooked up to the heart machine because they had to stabilize my heart. Yeah. And after that, I think I started to get dressed. And then we went into the ambulance, and they gave me a nebulizer treatment. It's another treatment for my lungs itself because he said I was having some bronchial reaction. That's why so much spit. It was like spit and foam at one point in time that was coming out of my mouth. So I guess he was treating my lungs for that as well. And then we were in the hospital
forever.
For a very long time. Because anytime you get an EpiPen administered, they have to monitor your heart and your breathing for about 4 to 6 hours. Because whatever you had a reaction to, it can come back once the epinephrine wears off. So that's why we had to stay in there. And tell everybody how you felt how did you feel about that whole experience watching?
I mean, it was life changing, you know, because you never know when you're gonna get into that situation. It was like a regular day, and regular days can turn into a tough day, and they can turn into a bad day, and they can turn into the worst days. But when you see your wife going through something, it's like, okay, you know, you watch so much stuff on social media, you've seen so much pictures, you've seen so much videos of people losing their lives in a second. You know, I was like, you know what, God, this ain't gonna be the day. You know, and you know, I was very, very calm. I was praying in my head while it was going on, you know, asking God to, you know, this ain't it, this not the time. Make sure, you know, she gets somebody who's good, who's gonna take care of her, you know. And it made me think to myself that I gotta get better with knowing medical things, you know, like learning how to administer things, you know, having things at hand.
Because now I have an EpiPen.
Yeah, you know,
like with
and I know how to use an EpiPen, but it's knowing how to use it in the moment, and not being afraid to save somebody's life while you're doing it, you know. So that's
your wife.
Especially your wife, and you know, desperate times, you know, calls for desperate measures, and at times you can't be afraid, and you can't be you know, lackadaisical, and you can't take somebody's food allergies and things that, you know, they're allergic to for granted.
Yeah, because like I said before, if he knew, I guess my body has gotten more sensitive to the shellfish allergy over time.
And I love shrimp, so I can't even eat shrimp anymore.
Listen, I love crab. I don't know if it was my fault that I made the allergy become more sensitive, because I used to drug myself up with, like, you know, Zyrtec, Benadryl, something like that, and eat my crab. I never liked shrimp. He liked shrimp.
I can't eat shrimp.
Right? But now it's like so scary. I'm scared to go to like any seafood restaurant or anything like that, because mind you, I didn't even eat the shrimp.
If you smell
all he did was hug me and kiss me, and then he hugged and kissed Chloe, and then she laid on me. So it's to the point where it could have been airborne, or it's like the protein in the skin touched mine. It's just it gets real technical, but
yeah.
Now it's just like annoying because he loves shrimp, and I used to love crab and lobster, but now I can't even eat that anymore. I'm just too scared. That was just so scary. I don't even want to take the chance. Even if I drug myself up, it's just like...
Yeah. And if any one of your loved ones have anything, you know, that's going on, you know, try to learn as much as you can about it. Yeah. So, you know, prevention is better than... cure, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's what they say.
Yeah.
So, you know, prepare yourself, you know, for certain things, and you know, always be cautious.
Yeah.
And be smart.
Yeah. And one thing that I was thinking about, I forgot to say this, when I was going through all of that, I kept talking to... It's crazy because I couldn't breathe, but it was like a million things running through my head at the same time, and I think that's why I couldn't answer him or my mom when they was talking to me, but I think it's because my voice was screaming in my head that I don't even know what they were saying to me, and I'm just like, I was like, Jesus, please don't let me die right now. Like, I don't... I was thinking about my mom, my daughter, and my husband. Like, I cannot go like this, not in front of them. Like, this would be a traumatizing experience for all three of them. You know, even Chloe at the young age... You have the ability to remember something that traumatizing so young, because my earliest memory is actually at 3. But that's all I kept thinking, like, Jesus, please, not right now, not right now. Like, if you want to take me out of their sight or something, let me die in the ambulance or something. Like, don't let me die right now in front of them. Not like this. Like, this is crazy, please. Like,
but we know it wasn't going to happen. So
it was just scary. It was really, 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 really scary. And, you know, I don't take anything or anyone or no day for granted. Not that I did before. So thank you. I love you. And, so that's the end of the story time. I don't know if you guys want to hear more stories.
Yeah. If you got any questions, guys, you know, comment below.
Yes.
Comments, ask any question.
Subscribe
if
to my channel.
If you have any food allergies.
Yeah.
Comment your food allergies at the bottom.
Right?
Let's see how much people got stuff in common.
Listen, I'm allergic to a lot of things, not just food. Like almost everything environmental, every animal except for birds.
Every hater, I'm allergic to that. All them people.
But anyway, if you guys like this kinds of videos, just let me know. I'll try to do one.
Comment below. Let us know.
Month, you know, something.
Send a message. Slide in the DMs. No, not the way you're supposed to slide, but you know what, I get it.
Anyway, bye guys.